evolution actually is a process of changing process of the software system, meaning that from the evolutions until the maintaining and so on. So actually, this is actually the process that cannot be avoided. Okay, cannot be avoided, and every software have to be changed to remain useful. So that is actually we call it the key points for this topic. So it's actually viewed that every software, regardless how will be the size of the software, it have to be evolved, okay, in order to make the software remain useful. So in order to have we have a theory here, we call it program evolution dynamic. So actually have few laws that actually is a common law that in computing sciences, that we have well known of the Lemon law, that for the large and complex system. So there are few laws that we're going to actually encounter in this topic. And before we continue with the software maintenance topic, to know about the factors that you have to calculate, take into considerations to estimate the software maintenance costs, and also the what will be the things that you have to look into during the software maintenance before we go for the legacy system management. Meaning that how to manage a legacy system or complex system that over the years and during its lifetime. Okay, excuse me, I think someone is trying to coming in. Yeah. Okay, back to our screen. Right, so the learning objectives here for topics of software evolutions, the main things here is change is inevitable, meaning that, as I mentioned earlier, for software, the moment that you deployed it, the moment that you use it, or any end user using it, the change request actually starts to happen, and you are going to receive the change request from time to time. So that is actually meaning that change in the software is inevitable. Okay, so we have to also understand the evolution process so that we can understand what will be the step, what will be the standard procedure or standard process that almost all the software house follow. Okay, during the normal change requests or during the ad hoc change requests. And we are going to learn the different type of software maintenance. In this course, you are going to actually learn about 3 basic types of maintenance. So we are going to actually all three types of the maintenance process and the definitions of it later. So lastly, we're going to learn about what are the legacy systems, the criteria of it, how you're going to make the decisions in order to scrap it, maintain it, re-engineering the system, or replace the whole system with the new system. So that are some decisions that you have to make based on a few criteria factors, and the assessment have to go through before you make the decisions for the legacy system. Okay, this is actually the objective of the software evolution topic. Okay, so as I mentioned already twice, change is inevitable. Why? Why software have to be changed? Kenapa kita dah susah payah collecting all the users' requirements, system requirements, and so on, and yet we want to change it during the deployment or in the moment at the moment that the users start to using it and so on. So these are few reasons, but it's not limited to these few reasons here. So these are a few reasons that are going to actually we call it going to make the change for the software. Number one, of course, is a new requirements coming in. As I mentioned, once you deployed it, once the users start to using your software, Okay, so it's already have the new requirements coming in, add in this function, add in that functions to improve certain functions and so on. So new requirements coming in. That's why make the software change. Okay, this you have to edit it, you have to accommodate the change according to the new requirements. The second factors here will be the business environment change, meaning that the environment change that force the software to change in order to fulfill the needs and user satisfactions during the changing of the business environment. Like for example here during the COVID-19 pandemic, actually is a we can view it as is a new experience for everyone. Okay, new experience for everyone. Almost all the business, have to link themselves to the digital or to the we call it online marketplace, so that they can actually sell the product, sells the food, sells the drinks, sells their merchandise and everything. So everything goes online. Everything goes online. Promotions online. Everything's online. So the business environment changed, forced everything to be changed to make last during before this, maybe they don't consider or didn't consider of the payment gateway and so on. Now they're starting to consider the payment gateway. Or they actually there's some of the shops or some of the company didn't emphasize on any digital payment. Now they start to actually add on the digital payment in the shops, in the centers and so on. So these are some business environment change that force the software to change. Okay, to change. The third one here, of course, is a repair errors. From time to time, when you have some bugs and so on, you try to fix it. Sometimes because of the components version update. Okay, sometimes because of some coding or some add-on is not available, then you have to change it to another one and so on. So you have to repair some errors. Okay. So the fourth one here is actually new hardware, new platform coming in. So you have to change it, new browser coming in. You have to make some changes for the adaptations and so on. New device coming in force you to have the more and more flexible layout and so on. As I mentioned to you about web design, same things go to the web design. We have the adaptive web design before this. So we have to actually really only cater for the 6 viewports. Then we have to change it. Okay, the technology evolved. Then we have the responsive web. You cater about CSS. You cater about the flexible layout. So we try to change it to the responsive web design. And then now people want to have a push notifications. People want to have offline options of viewing the websites and so on, web applications and so on. They are moving to the progressive web design. So these are some things that...
Sorry. There are someone want to come in.
Okay, someone want to come in. Oh, saya tak dengar Sekejap. Multiple people. Okay. Alright. Dah masuk Alright. Sorry. Tak perasan. Right. So the last one will be the improve the performance. Okay, improve the performance meaning that from time to time you try to have a perfective, we call it perfective maintenance. From when to develop it, you might use some code that will be we call it normal way of solving the problems and so on. From time to time, you try to actually make the coding more perfect and so on. You improve the performance, you improve the automatizations of the process and so on, so that it's improved the whole process of the system. That's why these few factors here actually make the software that have to change. Okay, have to change. So for those who involved in the software maintenance, they were going to actually understand what actually all the factors. And anyone here, I can't remember anyone here involved in the maintenance. Ada tak siapa-siapa buat maintenance? Do you have any other factors beside from this? This is actually the normal category, ya. Ada tak sesiapa buat maintenance di sini? Maintenance of the software or any of the software? Tak ada. Alright, so these are some categories. These are some categories. So you might have others issues or others factors that make the software change. Okay, so why people want to emphasize on evolutions? Dah siap buat sudahlah. Kenapa nak evolve ni? Okay, you have to understand the nature of the software. When a company proposes a software, when a company proposes a solution in the software system and so on, they treat it as one of the critical business assets. Okay, asset. So they have to actually put a lot of money inside for the investment. For example, government put a lot of money, portions of it for the software system. Every department or every every ministry, every departments, every unit, actually they have to rely on software system in order to actually facilitate all the process. We go for the digitalizations and so on. So that's why almost all the organizations actually put aside a portions of money from the company in order to invest in the software system. So when they invest in the software system, okay, they have to actually make it for the return of investment, ROI. Okay, so they already invest with a lot of money, and now they have to actually make sure that the system or the asset have to reach the returns of investment in certain period of time. So that's why they have to actually, in order to get that ROI, return on investment, they have to maintain the asset. To maintain the asset in order to sustain it, in order to reach to the point of the return on investment. That's why they put in the money in order to have the maintenance of the system. So that's why majority of the software budget in a large company were going to devote it to the changing and evolving the existing system. For example, UITM have a lot of large system. Okay, a lot of large system information system. Like for example, we have staff information system. We call it staff portal. Okay, we have students information system management. So we have SIM. Okay, so we have student portal. So we have library online databases, library systems. So we have our Think portal for our finance departments that cater nearly 10,000 staff salaries and so on. So that is a lot of system. So in order to maintain this system, every year UITM have to put aside some money for each system. Each system, the ketua unit have to estimate what will be the cost for the maintaining, especially for SIM related to the Oracle and so on. Kita guna Oracle. So Oracle is a licensed software. So that means UITM pay a lot of money in order to have a stable database that's based on the Oracle and so on. They have to put aside the money, the portions for the maintaining the Oracle database. So that's why there is actually some few attempt to migrate it from Oracle to other cheaper databases. So setakat ni migration cadangan-cadangan tidak berjaya lah, tidak berjaya because it's quite difficult to have a migrations of a large database into another database that we haven't tested yet. So that's why there is a lot of challenge in doing it. Okay, a lot of challenge in doing it in order to lower the cost for the software maintenance and so on. Okay, so these are ideal model from Dr. Boehm, University of Southern California. So they propose, this is a spiral model of development and evolution. Okay, development and evolution. This is the ideal model that combining, spiral model is combining the waterfall with prototype. Okay, waterfall idea with the prototype concept. So they have the specifications when they implement it, validate by the users, and put it on for the operations. We have first release of the software. Then the process is going on to collect the new specifications, implement it, and validate it with the users, have an alpha version, beta version before push it to the second release, and so on. This is the ideal spiral models in the process. Again, spiral model in the process. However, when the evolutions really happens, there are some common issues here. Okay, regardless what will be the software look like, that will be the evolution issue. Ada isu-isu yang berkaitan dengan evolution. Tak kira dia sistem apa pun, web-based system ke, mobile application apps ke, mobile apps ke, ataupun any standalone system ke, ataupun native apps ke, whatever system yang ada, dia ada evolution issue. Number one, discontinuity in development process. Meaning here, the development team and the maintenance team are different. Okay, so especially for the government agency, okay, when they have a development, they put on the tender, then some company or software house is going to actually bid for the tender and win the tender. When they win the tender, they were going to have a user requirement, gathering the system requirement. Sometimes the software house put it in a very nice way, is the documentations and so on. Okay. However, when they finish the development, let's say 1 year time, finishing with the user acceptance test, UAT. So, and formal handover, sign off to the maintenance team. Okay, so the maintenance team didn't they do not really involve in the development process. So this is somehow some discontinuity happens. Okay, discontinuity happens that make the evolutions difficult. Okay. Because different team developed it and another different team maintain it. Okay, so discontinuity happened there. Number two here is a requirement and design document. Okay, so when the development team that follow the plan-driven approach and have some documentations, especially for the SRS, especially for the STD in the large system or complex system, that is a must for the SRS and STD. Okay, because the complex system, or we call it legacy system, we're going to use it more than 10 years, 20 years, even 30 years and more. So it's really depends on the documentations as a point of reference for the maintenance team to refer and so on. However, from time to time, new requests coming in, new requirements coming in, some slightly changes on the design, some slightly changes on the UI and so on. Most of it, they change it, but they didn't document it. Okay, they didn't really document it. That's why when you check on it, it's only have one version of the requirement. And you really check on the current system, it's already changed, okay, because of some change requests and so on, and it's not being documented. So this is one of the issues of evolution. Another one is the merging of the company. Okay, merging of the company make two different systems have to really accommodate to the needs of the merging company, so that it's really reflect and can be used by both group of the workers and so on. So this is another issue where the evolutions team or maintenance team, they have to integrate all the functions. Kalau dia sama okay lah, but when it's slightly different and so on, we have some issues whether you have to actually accommodate it, or you directly ignore the functionality that only one company using it. So there are some issues on the evolutions of software when the merging happen. The last one here is we call it the last one, but it's the most important one, is the program understanding. Okay, so when we have when you want to maintain a system, when you want to add some new requirement or new functionality to the system, or doing some perfective maintenance and so on, you have to really understand the program, meaning that you have to open the existing system, reading the codes, understand it thoroughly before you can change it. Okay, saya rasa yang ni semua students ada pengalaman lah, disebabkan semua mesti pernah buat final year project. Okay, final year project. So most of you have the experience of Googles about the open source coding yang ada. Tengok coding mana yang sesuai, yang boleh paling dekat dengan apa you nak buat dan sebagainya. So you akan try run the code, walaupun you dah copy paste sebiji dah, ikut YouTube, ikut whatever step you dah follow exactly the same. Bila run it, error, ada bugs dan sebagainya. So it's time for you to really read it. Ada yang communicate balik dengan the developers, communicate balik dengan code punya contributors, tanya, saya dah follow tapi tak boleh, macam mana ni? Contohlah. So that is the experience of program understanding. Okay, sometimes we reach a point that we read other program sampai kita naik marah, geram, disebabkan kita rasa, ya Allah, lebih baik saya buat semula lah semua. Okay, I don't know whether you have that experience or not. Okay, in terms of reading other codes, you rasa macam, geramnya, saya lebih baik saya buat baru lah, lebih cepat sikit. Okay, these are some feelings, so this is actually some of the real scenario. Okay, do you agree with me? Sesiapa yang pernah buat program understanding ni?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. So what is your experience? Coding untuk apa?
Sometimes the previous developer didn't give us the requirements and all. So when we want to maintain the software, sometimes we need even to just do the program from scratch.
Susah kan? So that's why pesan kat diri saya, pesan kat semua yang ada lah. For those who really in the industry, please think it. Although I know that you might think that I'm not the one who maintain it, I'm not the one who going to use it, I'm not the one who going to actually do some changes later on and so on. But that is your responsibility of the development team. Sediakan requirement, dia punya documentations, design. Kalau ada test cases, semua kena masuk test cases, the test result, the summary of the test result, what will be the change after the test result, everything you have to report it. Everything you have to document it so that the maintenance teams know what to do, okay, later, and help them to understand. And then another one important things here, we actually from time to time, we teach our degree students, even the diploma students, to do a slightly documentation inside the code. Kita diajar untuk buat komen. Contohlah function ni untuk apa, program ni procedure untuk apa, module ni untuk apa dan sebagainya. Do some simple documentation inside the code itself. Is going to help the maintenance team actually. coding yang ada dan sebagainya. Honestly, I shared it with you before. I think saya pernah come across a system, re-engineering pharmacy system, pharmacokinetic application system. Okay, so actually it's a system that built out from scratch from a group of pharmacists. Okay, pharmacist. Okay, pharmacy punya orang ni. Okay, the student one, master student. Using Java, perempuan. Using Java, NetBeans. Okay, NetBeans, using Java, gunakan NetBeans. They build out the system and so nicely recommend dalam dia tak ada use cases, dia tak ada requirements, semua tak ada, document tak ada kerana dia orang tak ambil tahu benda tu. But the code itself actually is a good documentation. It's already is a very good and easy understand. So dia tulis kat situ procedure ni adalah procedure apa, function dia untuk function apa, tag in what will be the input of it and what to calculate, what will be the output of it. Very clear. Setiap benda tu dia macam seolah tu you baca je program dia, you can understand the whole flow. Daripada situ kita re-engineer balik. Kita re-engineering balik, create documentation untuk requirement, create documentation untuk design sebelum kami proses dengan web development and so on. So that's why the program understanding actually is, we know that program understanding is an issue. But I always told my students, I always told myself that whenever you handle the project, you handle the software development and so on, the documentation is still really important. Although you say some of the software houses sekarang ni semua gunakan agile. Kadang-kadang rasa geram juga dia gunakan agile, so that you know that that maintenance thing is not going to use agile. That's why you have to prepare some documentations. Okay, so we are going to discuss the agile issue later. The agile issue later. So there are some different terms here. This is actually one of the terms that use adalah evolution dengan servicing. They are slightly different. When we talk about program evolution, is the phase in the software development. Dalam software development punya proses adalah software evolution. So in this phase, significant changes will happen, and eventually they were going to have a new requirements proposed. Okay, new requirements are proposed and implemented in the system until it reached to the transition point. So we call it evolution. Okay, evolution. Dia ada tambah functionality, tambah new requirement coming in after it's actually in the operational use until it's a point for the transition to reach to the servicing. When it is a servicing, bermaksud dia hanya service sajalah. Your software actually remains useful. Okay, the only changes here is relative small and essential changes. Okay, essential changes so that it can actually fix the bugs and so on. And no new functionality is added here. Okay, dalam servicing bermaksud guna seadanya. Kalau ada sedikit fault repairs dan sebagainya for the lower level, the error code and so on, it will going to actually fix it in order to remain useful. Okay, sampai satu tahap dia akan phase off. Phase off here is meaning that the software might still be used, however, no further changes are made. Dia hanya guna seadanya. Itu adalah untuk phase off. Okay, untuk dalam keadaan yang phase off. That means when we have in the software in the phase off, it's going to be used as long as some user is still using it. It still be there. However, the company no need to put aside the money in order to maintain it. Okay, the software still is useful to some certain portions of the users. We cannot delete it because some of the users still require it, still need it in the business process to support some business processes and so on. And technology still there, still have some relevance or components can be supported and so on. You have to actually categorize it in the phase off and whatever software in the category of face off, you don't need to calculate for the maintenance cost because no more changes is going to meet for the software. So yang mana you betul-betul nak kira adalah dalam servicing saja untuk maintenance. Untuk maintenance adalah servicing. Evolution ni biasa dah calculated dalam costing yang ada dan sebagainya untuk change request, untuk new requirements coming in and so on. But when you put into servicing, when you hand over to it and so on, some of the software house very good. Dia siap kata, okay, kita orang support 1 year maintenance. Very good actually. In the 1 year maintenance, meaning that it's going to actually somehow no new functionality added, but they are fixing the error, they make it the perfective maintenance and so on. That will be good, okay, untuk software house. Tapi jarang lah software house akan offer untuk maintenance. So all the software process here is depends on 3 types. 3 things here. The type of software being maintained. Kalau dia adalah web system, cara maintaining dia lain. Kalau dia adalah standalone, kalau dia adalah complex system, calculations dan sebagainya, that will be different. The development process itself will be make it different for the evolutions. When you develop it in an agile, that will be different. When you develop it in a plan-driven, the development process in the plan-driven, then the evolutions will be different and so on. And it's actually depends on the skill and experience of the people involved in the maintenance team. Okay, in the maintenance team. When the skill, we often saying that the skill and the experience of the maintenance team actually is far behind the development team. That's why kebanyakan ni malu jugalah di mana government agency walaupun dalam IT department dan sebagainya, kebanyakan IT department punya staff, they don't upgrade themselves or upskilling or reskilling themselves with some new knowledge. Bila disebut diminta buat sesuatu maintenance dan sebagainya, boleh kata oh saya tak ada knowledge. Kalau tak ada knowledge, learn lah. Pergilah kursus online. Sekarang kursus online kan banyak. Okay? Kursus online banyak offered by Oracle. Later on we are going to actually, I don't know, I hope the program, we call it Oracle Academy. Saya tak pasti sama ada you orang pernah dengar ke tak. Oracle Academy. Pernah dengar tak Oracle Academy? Oracle Academy. Tak pernah
Tak pernah, Doktor.
Benar Doktor.
Hopefully, I actually am still in the process of making it making it available to all the students. So Oracle Academy ni adalah satu program yang di mana orang katakan dia adalah satu social responsibility of the corporate social responsibility. That actually they offer a lot of things in the Oracle Academy to the students secara percuma. Okay, secara percuma. Bermaksud you boleh create your own cloud account, you boleh create a lot of things, you have online courses that are free for the students. Tapi kita tak guna pakai. Tu yang pelik tu. Kita tak guna pakai. So and then now I already know about it. So I will going to actually hopefully lah sempat untuk you orang guna sebelum you orang graduate lah. Okay, sempat you orang guna. So we planned for Oracle Day so that the Oracle people, the industry come in to explain about what actually the facilities they offer by the Oracle Academy so that it can be used free by the students. Okay, by the students to attend all the free courses, to use all the free facilities under Oracle, dan untuk diguna pakai sama. Okay, hopefully our team will manage to get it. Inshallah kita nak kick off next semester. Next semester that will be early of February. Okay, early of February. The intro orientation event pertama. Then after that, that will be actually the follow-up for the usage of the Oracle Academy facilities by the university. Okay, so hopefully we can get it done. Okay, kita tengah proses untuk bincang dengan Oracle region untuk make it happen. Okay, make it happen. Right. So this is a process of change. So when the cycle of it, when we have change, we identify the change. That will be the change identification process. Certain company, when a big company especially, when they want to make a change request, dia ada satu formal form. Dia akan isi form apa yang dia request nak change, bahagian mana dia nak change, request by siapa, dan reason, justifications why you suggest to change. Okay, the formal form will going to reach to the IT department. The IT departments were going to actually have a analysis of it. Okay, they receive the change proposal. Then they have to do some analysis of it. Okay, that's why the other change proposal happen. When the change proposal happen and submitted to the team, the team have to start the software evolution process before they push to the new system. Let us look at the software evolution process. Apa yang team tu perlu buat? Dalam software team, evolution team, when they receive the change request, they have to do the impact analysis. Impact analysis here is in terms of the cost, in terms of the related requirements. Bermaksud dia betulkan bahagian ni change request yang ada, dia akan berkait dengan requirement mana. So that's why the documentations, we call it requirement traceability matrix, is very important. Dalam dokumen SRS, kita ada satu part ataupun satu section, we call it requirement traceability. Meaning that daripada requirement ni, dia akan kaitkan dengan requirement mana. So when we refer to the document and we know that if this change request happen, it's going to affect the other requirements in the process. So when we know that using the requirement traceability matrix to trace the related requirements that actually really involve in the change request, we can have the impact analysis, more reliable impact analysis, counting to the cost, counting to the efforts that you want to use effort that you have to prepare in order to accommodate the change request. So that's why the impact analysis is going to take some time. Okay. Selepas dia dah buat impact analysis, now you have to make the decisions what to do, which category of it. Is that in the category of fault repair? Okay, fault repair pun ada kategori dia. Fault repair category of coding repair saja ke? Ataupun design repair? And then at the end, kalau paling serious ataupun costly will be the requirement repair. Maksud akan melibatkan requirement ni actually salah ambil. Contoh lah. Okay, that will be the highest or the highest cost of the fault repair. Okay, there are 3 category yang ada. So, and then we have platform adaptation. Is there only platform adaptations because of some OS coming in, because of some window updates and so on? So, is that on the platform adaptation? Okay, and then the third category here is we call it the perfective maintenance, the system enhancement. We are going to actually cater for the bad smells in the coding. We tidy out the codes, we make it more efficient, the optimizations of the process, improve the performance of the system and so on. Okay, so when we planning for it, okay, after a meeting, we normally in the larger company is going to actually have to include the implications of the change. Dia biasa kata implikasi kewangan lah. Okay, implications of the change. And what will be the time frame? Kalau ambil masa untuk change ni, berapa lama you nak change? Bila you nak deploy, berapa lama dia nak deploy dan sebagainya. So you actually have to make it clear to the management. Management akan tanya, kalau change request ni happen, berapa ramai programmer you nak guna ni? Berapa lama you nak settle benda ni? Okay, so sementara you nak fixkan yang ni, ada tak dia akan ganggu kepada sistem lain ataupun function lain? So all this you have to ask a project manager for the evolution, or for cater the change request, you have to do the impact analysis. So my experience is people were going to ask it. Okay, the management was going to ask, berapa lama ni you nak buat? Berapa orang you perlukan? Okay. Dan bila you tengah buat yang ni dan sebagainya, ada tak dia akan mengganggu macam mana you nak implement it? Selepas you betulkan, macam mana you nak deploy it? You nak ganti macam mana dan sebagainya. All this planning. Sementara ganti tersebut, dia akan ganggu tak function lain dan sebagainya. So what will be the planning of the change and so on before you go for the change implementation? Okay. After you review it, after you do the impact analysis, after you meet the management, after the management make a decision to change, baru you carry out change implementation. Okay. When we talk about change implementations, whatever the change that you propose, you have to do a thorough requirement analysis again. Okay. Siapa yang minta change tadi, daripada borang tersebut, pergi interview balik, pergi tanya berapa apa dia nak change dan sebagainya. Sometimes it needs you to redesign some components. Okay, redesign some components to include some components and so on before you audit. Make sure that you audit to the requirements. Okay, audit to the requirements. Okay, so somehow kebanyakan kita akan lupa tentang audit requirements tu. Kita tukar-tukar je lah. Okay, directly go for the coding, directly go for the maintenance process and so on, without document it. Okay, without document it. Okay, so this is actually the when we have a change implementation. When we have a change in implementations, so this is the critical stage here is understand the program. Sekiranya you adalah team yang sama develop, then no problem. Team yang sama, dia tahu mana nak betulkan, mana nak tu. Tapi apabila dia adalah different team, okay, that will be a problem come into the pictures that you have to study the coding, you have to study the program before you can change it, before you can add the new functionality to it, before you can do the proposed change, okay, to the system. Okay, so just now we are viewing the normal change request. Bermaksud dalam keadaan yang biasa, certain department, contoh financial department, dia propose a change and then dia isi borang untuk sampai ke IT department. IT department do the impact analysis, bentangkan dia kepada management, what will be the impact, how many persons are going to involve, how long it take in order to actually make the change implementations and so on. Then after that, do the change implementations before have a new system release and so on. This is a formal change request, keadaan yang biasa. Tapi ada certain keadaan di mana we call it urgent change request, meaning that early in the morning or during the midnight dan sebagainya, your colleague call you ataupun maintenance team call you as a manager dalam team tersebut. Ketua unit lah kata, ada some error ni, website kita tak boleh buka langsung ni, tak tahu masalah apa. Kebanyakan pernah kita alami adalah UITM lah, alami adalah kita namakan URL poisoning. Maksud dia gunakan domain poisoning, domain poisoning di mana dia directkan dia kepada tempat lain. Kita UITM pernah berlaku ni. Pernah berlaku adalah domain poisoning yang ada, and then bila kita backtrack balik semua, rupanya siapa yang buat? Indian students daripada India. Dia orang tengah buat testing. Dia simply pick out any website untuk dia punya assignment, untuk dia buat domain poisoning. So kita punya unluckily certain page tu, certain system tu telah diguna pakai untuk dia punya assignment. That's why dia berjaya lah. Dia berjaya buat domain poisoning. Saya rasa bagus juga kita tak ajar student kita buat macam tu. I don't know during your degree you belajar tak buat virus? Pernah tak? Ada code tak buat virus? Khusus buat virus? Ada? Masa degree tu? Diploma ke degree ada?
Tak ada tu.
Tak ada Rugi tu. Macam saya dulu, kita orang ada satu kod tu, khusus satu kod khusus. Memang ajar buat virus saja. Buat malware. Okay? Memang ajar satu khusus tu buat different types of malware. Macam mana you nak buat virus? Macam mana you nak buat worm? Macam mana worm? Macam mana you nak buat dikira DOS, okay? Denial of Service Attack. So benda tu yang kami belajar tau. Macam mana you nak hack sesuatu sistem. Okay, macam mana cara-cara you nak hack sesuatu sistem. So bagi saya interesting meaning that for example antivirus sekarang ni, antivirus software kan, antivirus software I think everyone knows about antivirus software. So keep on ada virus datang, virus datang dari mana sebenarnya? Daripada antivirus company lah. Okay, antivirus company actually pay to another party, third party. I pay you to create the virus. Baru antivirus boleh jual. So you akan perasan di mana virus tu keluar, akan tak lama ada antivirus yang boleh solve. Okay, virus je keluar, ada certain antivirus. Dia selepas berapa hari dia kata, we come up with the solution and so on. Ada update. You have to update our software, update our antivirus and sebagainya. Okay. So, who create the virus? Actually, the programmers. Programmers create the virus. So, that's why saya kata rugi. Mungkin orang nampak adalah negative virus, negative way of thinking. Nak create worms, nak create virus dan sebagainya. Masa khusus kami dulu lah, masa saya degree dulu, memang kami belajar macam mana you nak tulis sesuatu virus tu. Program, actually virus tu satu program. So macam mana you nak create satu worms tu. Worms tu adalah duplicating the file yang ada. Maksud dia simply pick out any file and then dia akan ada looping untuk duplicating supaya you penuhkan you punya hard disk dan sebagainya. So dia gunakan looping, okay? Looping konsep dalam virus dalam worms tersebut. Macam mana you nak create denial of service tu? Posting the false service dalam website semua kan. So benda-benda macam tu kan, di mana kami diajar lah untuk buat. And then at the same time kami diajar macam mana nak blockkan dia, antivirus. You nak detect macam mana dan sebagainya. So masa zaman saya tu, kalau you keluarkan satu utility tools, dah dikira project dah. Contoh you create satu antivirus. Boleh detect satu virus, 2-3 jenis virus, dikira final year project dah. So itu actually it's more technical part. So saya nampak sekarang dah dilute. Bermaksud tak technical macam dulu lah. Tak technical macam dulu. So kami dulu challenging juga nak kira untuk creating these kinds of things lah. So Indian students ni sama juga, dia adalah diajar untuk buat attack, buat domain poisoning dan sebagainya. So it's a good experience for the students. Cuma dia pick up daripada any website Masa tu UiTM kena. Okay, UiTM ada certain lah, bukan whole UiTM system tak. Bukan whole UiTM page. Adalah certain UiTM agency dalam certain UiTM dia dapat untuk domain poisoning ni. Bila kita backtrack balik dan sebagainya, rupanya attack tu daripada satu universiti kat India, di mana student pick out website tersebut sebagai satu assignment untuk dia buat attack. Okay, so all these kinds of change request so terpaksa kena buat cepat, ataupun satu komponen tiba-tiba version out dan sebagainya, so you tak boleh nak display dalam website, so need you to have urgent change request. When this urgent change request datang dengan urgent change request, you have no time to do the formal process. Macam tadi tu, masuk meeting, buat impact analysis dan sebagainya, itu tak sempat. You tak sempat buat cara tu untuk entertain the change request. So that's why we need an urgent repair process. In the urgent repair process, we directly straight to the point analyze the source code. Kat mana silap dia, kat mana saya boleh baiki, kat mana saya boleh pulihkan keadaan dan sebagainya. So when you analyze the source code, you were going to modify the source code directly before you deliver the modified system. In this kinds of scenario, it will going to have the change in the requirement, the change in the design, the change in the code. So make it inconsistent in all these documents. So have to remember that, have to understand that after the emergency repair process, you have to bear in mind, please don't forget to update your documents, update whatever modification, update whatever analysis for the further documentation. You kena buat balik macam tadi tu, buat balik impact analysis selepas you dah betulkan yang ni ada tak dia affect kepada requirements lain. Okay, so apabila macam tu ada tak dia akan impactkan kepada structure lain dan sebagainya. So have to do some analysis after the repair. Of course, emergency repair dia terus kepada coding. That's why if you didn't or if you ignore it because you already put out fire. Okay, orang telefon kata urgent ni, you kena buat. You terus urgent, you fixkan dan run, masa tu okay. So you dah forget about the change. Forget about the change and so on, change request and so on. Because somehow the change request just a call. Daripada boss, daripada mana, tolonglah fix komponen tu dah hilang. Let's say you are using the component dengan website you ambil certain component and component tu version dah update dah, tak ada. So you try to update the version and you try to fix the problem. After fixing the problem, you tend to forget about it because melalui phone call je, bukan formal form dan sebagainya, you dah lupa. So these kinds of things actually make the system actually inconsistent. So that's why I have to know that if have to remain, the request have to remain outstanding after the code faults have been fixed, so that you can analyze it properly, see what are the requirements related to the code, to the source code change, and you have to document it. And if it is actually inconsistent in certain process of it, you have to fix it and thoroughly look at it. Okay, this is the change, emergency change repair. Okay.
Doktor,
Yes.
Based on my experience kan,
Okay.
kalau ada urgent change request macam ni,
Mhm.
selalunya kami akan terus fix lah. Terus buat modify the coding, tapi later the requester tu still kena key in the requirement. So to make sure that the changes is documented lah.
Documented. Yes, that is good. That is good. Yang ni you follow yang standard tu kan?
CMMI.
That's why you boleh dapat level 5 tu, masuk you di lah. Memang very good. It's not every company doing it. That's why you boleh dapat level 5 tu, memang saya salute lah. Boleh dapat level 5 tu memang susah. Disebabkan
too many documentation.
Memang many documentation. But when audit datang, you akan selamat. Audit data memang selamat disebabkan you have a very good management of the documentation. Memang akan leceh lah. Memang semua staff akan rasa macam ya Allah, semua nak dokumen. But when the audit come, you tak gelabah. Di mana you dah everything in place. You request, you ada refer. And then ada tak buat analisis? Ada, saya buat analisis. So impact dia saya pun buat semua everything. Maksud when the audit come untuk checking for the for all this orang kata audit trial so maksud semua adalah in place. Documentation in place. That's why saya tak heran you dapatkan 5 tu memang saya selesa. It's not every
company akan prepare all the stuff for audit. Kami akan buat 3 bulan sekali akan panggil any staff akan buat audit. Internal audit lah.
Internal audit.
So everyone need to prepare. Need to understand the process.
Understand the process because anytime you can become an auditor and anytime you can become the auditee. Auditor tak risau sangat, auditee yang risau. Kena macam Viva je. Kena ready semua kan. So saya pernah jadi auditor, saya adalah certified Lloyd's auditor. Then memang pun internal auditor juga kepada UiTM. So that's why every process kita kadang-kadang pergi audit fakulti, kadang-kadang pergi audit satu jabatan dan sebagainya. So memang kerja auditor tu memang kena check every documentation. When you say you have documented, mana record dia?
The proof lah.
You follow you dah ada record, dia tengok balik pula you punya standard SOP tu. You follow the SOP guideline yang ada tu. Ada tu you follow tak semua, everything. So actually the detail lah. Very tedious job but actually is easier kalau ada anything happens to the certain staff orang lain tengok dia punya documentation dah lengkap. Dia dah follow the situ.
Betul. Doktor nak tanya untuk proses ni kan after modify the source code we need to do the testing too, right?
Betul.
Before deliver.
Okay, betul. So after you before you deliver, maksud betul lah kat sini. Dia after you modify source code, you kena ada testing. Kalau perlukan test cases, you kena buat juga everything ni. Dia tak detail kat sini. Very good So di mana kalau you ada information macam tu, actually I pick up important points Okay, important points. That's why you have to actually go through, boleh Google tentang emergency repair process and so on. Everything that you code, everything that you modify, you have to test it. Okay, daripada basic punya unit testing sampai system testing, kalau melibatkan sistem lain, kena integration testing, everything yang kena buat untuk one round. Okay, testing tersebut before you deliver the modified coding tu. Okay, modified system. Yes, it's good. Thank you for add in your point. Okay, ada apa nak tanya tak? Ada. Okay. So we continue a little bit more. Okay, just now I mentioned about agile dengan challenge agile with the challenge of evolution. Okay. When we talk about agile we are going to discuss as a topic, as a special topic later in this course. But this one is actually I quickly go through. When we talk about agile, it's based on the incremental development. Also, you have break into your modules. Okay, you have break into what are the modules that you want to develop based on the priority of the client. You are going to incremental develop it. Okay, incremental develop it, sikit-sikit develop based on the priority that request by the client. Okay, so that's why normally we have the automatic regression testing. Okay, is particularly vulnerable when changes are made to the system. So when we talk about automated regression testing, apa tu automated regression testing? So if you read, you can actually Google about the terms and you can read the process. And there is a lot of information about automated regression testing. But I would like to share it here is actually you have to really understand to do the automated regression testing, you have to understand the flow of the application. You can thoroughly understand the flow of the applications. Okay, when you thoroughly understand the flow, what flow of the applications are there, you transform it into test script. Okay, you transform all the based on the workflow, so transform it into test script. Okay, when you transform it into test script, then you have to do your version control. Okay, you have to do the version control based on the test script. There you buat version control of the testing and the so then you automate all the operations. Okay, automate all the operations of the testing before you put the test result as the input for any business risk analysis. Okay, in the business risk analysis. So actually you can actually Google about the automated regression testing. Kerana dalam Agile memang you kena gunakan certain tools untuk menolong you buat untuk testing. Kerana Agile melibatkan dia asyik akan accommodate kepada change request. That's why you need a lot of testing and you have to have some methods in order to the automations of the testing. Right? So when we're using Agile, there is two issues here. Okay, when you're using Agile, there is two issues here. One is the scenario that the development team using Agile. Development team using Agile, especially software house sekarang ni, kebanyakan dia nak cepat 3 bulan ataupun 6 bulan dia nak deliver sistem dan sebagainya. Kebanyakan akan emphasize kita orang akan gunakan hybrid, Agile dengan sedikit plan driven. Plan driven pun diminta disebabkan ada documentation. And then simple documentations adalah use cases. Use cases kadang-kadang tak buat pun sequence diagram dan sebagainya. Use case diagram dengan use case description yang ada. So bila kepada test cases terus hantar kepada client. Okay, ataupun hantar kepada yang client kita lah untuk handover. So when the evolution team that one is actually unfamiliar with the Agile and prefer a plan driven, then some things will actually have problems. Because Agile, the nature of Agile approach, they don't emphasize on documentation. They emphasize on process. It's not documentation. So it's actually made the documentation is not sufficient from the evolution team that prefer the plan-based approach, plan-driven approach. So plan-driven approach, dia suka tengok dokumen. Dia suka refer dengan dokumen. Kalau ada SRS lagi bagus, kalau STD lagi bagus dan sebagainya. However, the development team is using Agile. Bukan salah dia orang pun, kerana dia memang gunakan Agile. So that will be the handover problem. Scenario number one. Scenario number two is the development team using plan driven. And the in-house team or evolution team using Agile. Ini mungkin jarang lah kita jumpa. Maksud development team using plan driven. Dia siap dengan documentation lengkap, SRS cantik, STD cantik, testing pun cantik, sequence diagram ada, everything ada. When they hand over to the evolution team adalah jenis yang nak guna Agile. Bila guna Agile, dia perlukan untuk automated test cases tu, automated regression test, kena ada test cases dan sebagainya. So bila macam tu, the Agile team, the Agile gunakan Agile ni, evolution team might start from the scratch developing the automated test. Okay, automated test dan sebagainya. So that's why actually is a handover problems when the development team have a different approach with the evolution team. Okay, so anyone have the experience in this handover? Ada tak siapa-siapa ada experience in this handover yang boleh share? Siapa yang develop project? Do you have any problems in this? Tak ada
Yes,
yang
doctor.
okay, can you share? Can you share?
Because the development team and the evolution team is the same person.
Oh, same person. Your scenario is same person Sama
Yes, doctor.
Oh,
Yeah.
same person tak ada masalah lah. When ni handover tu yang akan masalah. Kalau same person, that mean the development team dengan evolution team same person, there is no problem lah. Okay, there is no problem. This is actually in the scenario that you have different team and you have different approach. Okay, this is a scenario ada, right? So we talk about this topic, and I think this will be our last topic before we end out the sessions earlier today. Okay, so let us have a break before we start this topic. Saya rasa this topic will be our last topic untuk hari ini. Kita break into 2 session untuk topik ni. Okay, kita take 10 dulu. Take a break 10 minutes. Kita jumpa balik dalam 9.31. Sekarang my time is 9.21. So let's take a break 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, kita rehat kejap
Okay, boleh.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Welcome back. Semua dah ada ke?
Ada.
Right. Okay, before we begin, I just want to double check on it. For next week class, Dr. Afiza mentions to me that she wants the students that attend CSP750. Adakah you orang semua kan 750, if I'm not mistaken lah, the code. So she suggested to me to switch the class with her so that the students can attend for a webinar. If I'm not mistaken, 8 to 11. Okay, 8 to 11. And she suggests to me that we're going to actually have a class at around 3 to 6 next week. Okay, 3 to 6. So may I know how many of you cannot make it 3 to 6? Berapa orang? Kalau tukar 3 ke pukul 3 hingga 6, berapa orang tak boleh untuk CSC711 ni? May I know how many of you? Ada ke?
Untuk kami untuk part tu doktor, kami petang tu ada CSC734 bawah Dr. Nasirah.
Pukul berapa orang tu, Zuriat?
Around 7 people.
7 people.
Around
Betul.
7. Wah, kenapa dia suggest dengan saya, dia kata tak ada kelas, student okay semua. You are from group CS 707 2A. 1A ke 2A?
2A.
2A 7 orang lah 7 orang daripada 707 2A tak boleh kan? You orang involve tak? Dia ajak tak pergi yang pagi punya 8 hingga 11 tu?
What do you mean, doktor?
So dia ada tak Dr. Afiza minta you orang pergi session pagi 8 hingga 11 tu?
Dr. Afiza dia cover part 1 saja.
Oh, that's why
CS707 dengan CS727 part 1.
okay, no wonder lah dia kata no wonder dia kata student okay je, student tak ada kelas. So I have to let her know about it lah. Kalau 7071A berapa orang Mas Sarah?
Kejap. Around 11.
Oh, ramai juga. You orang common time ada tak pukul you orang pukul 11 ada kelas kan Mas Sarah?
Ada.
Okay. Petang je 1A tak ada kelas.
1A kelas dengan Dr. Afiza lah, that's why dia nak change dengan
Nanti saya discuss balik dengan dia di mana bukan semua students boleh. So it's unfair to the students cannot attend to the class and so on. Saya switch tak ada masalah tapi nyaya kat student lah, tak boleh nak datang kelas semua I discuss it with Dr. Afiza dulu before I make the decision whether change it with her or not. Okay, right. Okay, let us continue a little bit more. Okay. Can you see my screen? Boleh?
boleh.
Thank you. Right. Okay. Okay, welcome back to our topic. Okay, this is actually the subtopic that I would like to cover today. Okay, habis cover yang ni kita habis kelas awal lah. Okay, but before we finish the class, I'm going to actually share with you your assessment too. Okay, your assessment too. Right. Okay. As I mentioned in the early of the lecture that we have Lemon Law. Okay, Lemon's Law here actually is a research done by Lemon and Belady in 1985. Adalah satu laws yang we call it Lemon's Laws. Yang agak lama lah, but guna pakai, di mana guna pakai. So it has actually started with the story of the scenario. So two researchers here, Lemons and Belady, actually have an idea that doing some empirical software engineering survey. Okay, the empirical software engineering survey ni melibatkan banyak software developers. Banyak software developers, software houses at that moment. Okay, so both researchers saying that we know that all the software were going to change. It at the moment is put into operation, change request start and so on. So dia kata kalau macam tu kita kena create satu benda, kita kena buat kajian di mana betul ke tak ni. Surrounding industry saying that yes, software change. Once it's put into operations, software starting to change and so on. But who says that? Ada tak survey berlaku dan sebagainya? That's why both researchers taking the initiative at that moment, so collecting the real world scenario and doing some survey for the software houses at that moment that involved in the legacy system development. Okay, dia kumpul data daripada semua software houses yang available, and then yang libatkan mereka terlibat dalam legacy system development. Okay, so actually do some survey, after few rounds of the meeting, interviews and so on. They do the analysis. After the data collections, they do the analysis. And they come out with this program, evolution dynamics, we call it Lemon Law. Saya tak pasti kadang biar Belady punya nama hilang tau. Lepas tu kita namakan dia sebagai Lemon Law saja. Belady dah tak ada nama. So that's why they call it is a Lemon Law kat sini. Okay, it's based on whatever data they collect with the real world software house that involved in the legacy system development. They do some survey, do some analysis, go through the statistical analysis and so on before coming to the conclusion. Okay, coming to the conclusion. So there are some sensible observations, and it's applicable only to the large system. Yang sistem yang kecil, small and medium size of system is not applicable for this law. Okay, bermaksud apa yang melibatkan common law here? Okay, number one that we have to bear in mind, dia nak support adalah viewpoints that change is inevitable. Dalam Lemon's Law, Lemons and Belady, that come out with a common conclusions here, change is inevitable. Kita rasa macam biar betul ni, ini semua orang tahu. Yalah, semua orang tahu tapi bukan semua orang buat kajian. Dia berdua tu buat kajian. Come out with a conclusion. Okay, come out with the conclusions. I not quite remember what will be the numbers of dia punya respondents. Tapi semua adalah company yang terlibat dalam membuat large system lah. So apabila dia kumpul maklumat yang ada, dia come up with a common point here. Change is inevitable for all the software, especially the large system. Maksud sistem besar, legacy system that used for 10 years, 20 years, even 30 years and more, change is inevitable for these kinds of software. Of course lah, you nak guna 10 tahun, 20 tahun, 30 tahun kot, takkanlah tak ubah. So this is the common law. System must be changed if they are to remain useful in the business environment. So that's why they want to achieve, they must change. Okay, to accommodate or to remain useful. Itu adalah yang pertama. Okay. So these five laws actually is the initial research between Lemons and Belady. Selepas dia buat kajian dan sebagainya, 100 over project, the software house with the software project and so on, they come out with the common laws here. Number one, continuing change. That means a program that is used in the real world scenario, real world environment, must necessarily change, or else it will become progressively less useful in that environment. Okay, itu adalah laws yang pertama. To remain useful, the software have to continuing change. Itu adalah yang pertama. You baca, you rasa macam common je. Alah, semua orang tahu ni. As I mentioned to you, semua orang tahu. Tapi dia orang yang buat kajian. That's why they coined it. Okay, it's a Lemon's Law. Okay. Guna pakai sampai sekarang pun. Orang akan identify, tambah dia punya laws dan sebagainya. Tapi asal dia daripada sini. Right. The second point here from their survey or from their conclusions and observation, the software, as the software evolves from time to time, its structures tends to become more and more complex. Extra resources must be devoted to perceiving and simplifying the structure, meaning that from time to time when it's changed, the structure of the program will become more complex. Okay, that's why they have a law saying that all the software will going to increase in its complexity throughout the evolution time. Again, it's very common. Okay, untuk large system mesti bertukar. Bila bertukar, setiap kali pertukaran dan sebagainya, structure akan agak ganggu. Okay, akan ada gangguan dan sebagainya. And then extra resources must be devoted. Macam tadi mentions, selepas setiap changes, dia kena dokumentkan, itu adalah extra resources, extra effort. Dokumentkan dia, kena buat analisis balik, ada tak requirement lain terganggu, ada tak dia ganggu kepada structure lain dan sebagainya. Okay, walaupun adalah urgency, change, request, repair. Okay, so that means structures tends to become more complex and extra effort have to put in order to perceive the structure of the software. This is the second law. The third one here, all the software evolutions or the large system is self-regulating process. System attributes such as size, time between the releases, and the numbers of reporting errors is approximately invariant, okay, for each system release. Bermaksud benda tu akan berlaku secara quite consistent, okay, quite consistent, tak ada different sangat, okay, tak ada different sangat. Bermaksud from time to time, the numbers of reporting errors dan sebagainya is something that will going to happen actually by default. Maksud dia. So that's why there is a large program evolution. You cannot avoid. Proses tu adalah dari segi masa, jangka masa dia nak push out yang baru, reporting for the errors dan sebagainya. Benda tu, proses tu adalah self-regulating. Okay? It's a by default punya. Benda tu takkan berbeza sangat. So that will be the large program evolution. Tak kira lah you punya large program tu dalam environment mana. Benda yang dia nak laporkan untuk setiap untuk program evolution dia lebih kurang sama je. Okay. So that's why that is actually, we say common. But they come up with the law. Come up with after the observation. The fourth one here, over a program lifetime. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, each rate of development is approximately constant. Sepanjang masa, takkanlah tiap-tiap kali nak tukar. Dia akan jadi sampai tahap satu adalah stable and independence of the resources devoted to the system development. Sampai satu ketika, maka semua yang ada adalah stability. Come up to the stability of it. Maksud nak tambah pun adalah agak minima because the stability of the organisation itself. Contoh banking system. Okay, contoh banking system, contoh hospital system dan sebagainya. Benda tu throughout time frame ataupun aircraft system. Okay, aircraft system. Throughout the time, the organisation stability is already there. Maksud changes yang ada tu adalah agak constant. Okay, dia punya rate of development is quite constant. Maksud tak ada perubahan banyak pun. Kalau you kata banking system, credit, debit, sama je. Bermaksud takkan ubah benda tu. Contoh. And then kepada hospital, entiti yang terlibat tu patient, okay, doctors, pharmacist dan sebagainya. Benda-benda yang ada tu adalah dalam keadaan yang stable. Maksud jarang kita tambahkan satu benda lain, jarang sangat-sangatlah because disebabkan adalah stability organisation itself. Okay, that is the fourth law. The fifth law here is actually over the lifetime of the system, the incremental change in each release is approximately constant. Okay, bermaksud pertukaran yang throughout the lifetime of the system, the incremental change adalah constant. Bermaksud dia tak akan ada perubahan yang banyak-banyak disebabkan observations of familiarity. Okay, observations of familiarity. Contoh aircraft system, flight, airport system and so on. Benda tu adalah incremental change yang agak constant. Maksud from time to time, incremental change yang agak constant because of the conservations of the familiarity of the system. Okay, so jarang kata ada certain yang quite difference that happens and need some changes. Jarang berlaku benda tu lah disebabkan dia adalah large system and due to the organisation stability and so on. Okay, so these are 5 basic common laws untuk semua large system yang ada. Maksud tak kira lah you adalah enterprise system yang besar-besar macam mana pun, dia akan ada this criteria yang ada. Okay, this criteria in terms of the software evolution. Okay, so later the Lemons beside from Beladi dia ada buat research dengan orang lain buat research dengan orang Lemons ni lah, dia buat research dengan orang lain, dia come out the second version, they add in another one is a continuing growth. Bermaksud sesuatu function, the functionality offered by the system has to continually increase to maintain the user satisfaction. Kena tambah function, kena tambah function. Dan semasa ke semasa kena ada tambah functions in order to make it remain useful to the user, to actually to reach to the user satisfaction. Okay. Then kemudian dia tambah satu lagi adalah declining quality. Okay, the quality of the system, large system, will going to decline unless they are modified to reflect the changes in their operational environment. Okay, lastly adalah untuk yang Lemons ni adalah feedback system. Feedback system yang most current lah. I think it's 2000 something. Dia baru add in another one. They call it feedback system. Okay, bermaksud semua legacy system dulu kalau ingat legacy system tak ada pun contact us, feedback ke apa tak ada. Sampai satu ketika legacy system semua yang ada dia mula adalah create satu channel ataupun create satu feedback channel untuk user bagi feedback. Contact us. Klik je contact us, dia akan directly email you, dapat message, hantar. Maksud admin will going to receive the complaint, admin is going to receive the feedback, admin is going to receive whatever request, they're going to actually put it to the proper channel in order to cater it. So that's why they kata last system, macam mana pun biasa ada satu feedback. Okay, feedback channel. So evolution process incorporate multi-agent, multi-loop feedback system that you have to treat them as a feedback system to achieve the significant product improvement. So ini adalah dia dalam 2000, if I'm not mistaken, 2002 dia tambahkan feedback system ni. Okay, to make it complete to the evolution of the legacy system. Okay, So in order to conclude that, okay, as I mentioned to you, this one actually is a study, okay, is a study to have a nature. They want to spell out the nature of the software evolution. Maksud setiap sistem yang besar, dia akan berlaku perkara-perkara yang disenaraikan ni. Okay, disenaraikan ni dengan yang saya terangkan ni lah. Yang 5 ni asas dulu. Kemudian ditambah dengan continuing growth, ditambah lagi dengan declining the quality, ditambah lagi dengan feedback system. Yang ni adalah Lemons ni dah professor, dia dah guide dia punya PhD student, come up dengan satu law ni, actually dah satu PhD sebenarnya. Before dia boleh put on feedback system. PhD student dia dah buat kajian. Dia collecting dan sebagainya. That's why dia tulis kat situ very general, walaupun very general, multi-agent, multi-loop. Macam mana come up word ni adalah daripada kajian. Okay, kajian dia dah buat collecting the empirical software engineering punya daripada software house dan sebagainya, come up dengan satu. Sesiapa yang nak buat satu lagi tambah kat bawah tu, welcome lah. Untuk buat PhD lah. Buat PhD bawah tu satu lagi. Tambah. Saya nak tambah dalam Lemons Law. Untuk ikut sekarang ni, large system boleh cater apa lagi yang dia tak cater lagi. Yang dia hanya cater sampai ni. Okay. Suggestion. Okay. Alright. Disebabkan you orang ada yang daripada industri. Maybe you akan nampak, Lemons ni tak cater lagi ni. Sekarang dah 2020. Dia tak cater lagi untuk certain part of it. Name it. Okay. Tapi kena support by empirical study lah. Empirical study here is actually you have to identify who are going to be your respondents. Okay, you kena ada validity of the respondents. Valid ke tak respondent tu? Software house ada tak dia terlibat dalam legacy system development? Berapa lama dia punya experience dan sebagainya. Okay, so berapa project? Setahu saya dia gunakan projek tu memang beratus punya projek ataupun software house yang participate dengan dia. So that's why it's take years in order to come out with a law. Bukan senang untuk come out dengan satu laws ni, sekarang bertahun untuk dapatkan satu laws ni. Okay, so applicability of the Lemons Law is only applicable to large and tailored system. Tailored system is customized system. Okay, kalau commercial off the shelf system is not included. Okay, commercial off the shelf system is not included in this category. Maksud dia tak boleh buat perubahan pun. Ini adalah applicable to the large system that is customized. Customized large system, tailored system. Okay, tailored system. Okay, and it's actually, cannot be actually applicable to the shrink wrap software products, like for example produk yang install dalam CD tak pakai pun, tak boleh. It's not applicable for the law. Okay, so we cannot change it. It's not applicable for those who are in the COTS category. Gunakan COTS commercial of the shelf components, tak boleh, it's not applicable. Another one is small organization, it's not applicable. Or medium size of system is not applicable for the Lemons Law. Okay, so that is actually the key points of the whole things for today's lecture. Okay, so we go through the software development and evolution. Okay, and we go through the software maintenance. Okay, software maintenance that mentions that the cost for the software maintenance is higher. Okay. And it's driven, software evolution is driven by the request for changes. And we lastly come across the Lemons Law. Okay, we come across for the Lemons Law. Okay, right. Okay, I will going to stop here for today. Pukul berapa dah? Okay, pukul 10. Okay. Before we stop, I'm going to actually go through this. Can you see my screen? Boleh nampak? Screen saya assessment tool.
Boleh.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. Okay, assessment 1 akan due besok kalau tak silap saya lah. Assessment 1 akan due besok. Dan saya akan bagi you assessment 2. Maksudnya akan continuous ada assessment untuk buat lah. Okay, this is the title for the assessment 2. Again, it's a essay based. Dalam 3 muka surat termasuklah references yang ada. Okay. Now for the assessment 2, I would like you to read about software evolution. Software evolution ni termasuklah maintaining dan sebagainya. So more focus on the maintaining lah kat sini. Okay. Discuss thoroughly about software evolution, which is related in maintaining a web-based system. Macam mana challenge dia dengan isu nak maintain satu web-based system tu. Okay, apa challenge dia, apa isu dia sekiranya you nak view out dalam ini assignment ni adalah you have your viewpoints that what will be the challenges and issue in maintaining a web-based system. Okay, sekarang ni semua adalah web-based system ni. So apa yang susahnya ataupun challenge dia or issue in maintaining the system, this kinds of system. Your answer should cover elaborations on the software evolution in general. Maksud you kena mukadimah dia mungkin berlaku dengan satu paragraph. Dia sama je pattern dengan assessment 1. You ada satu paragraph, simple, satu paragraph, generally spell out what is actually the definitions of the software evolution. Software evolution ada berapa jenis, apa proses dia dan sebagainya. So semua sistem kena melalui software evolution and so on. So in a very general way, 1 to 2 paragraph the most. Okay, satu paragraph ataupun 2 paragraph actually is the most. Okay, and then when you talk about web-based system, what do you mean by web-based system? That's why you follow the essay. My suggestion is the elaborations of the web-based system. Okay, so in this kinds of scenario yang ada sekarang ni currently di mana kita semua business semua business environment ataupun semua organisation yang ada dia nak go for the web-based system. Because of what? Because of the accessibility, because of the availability and so on. Okay, so that's why they go for the web-based system. Apa maksud dia web-based system? Bermaksud dia boleh kepada access by any browser, viewable by any devices dan sebagainya. The nature of the web-based system you kena terangkan kat sini. Apa beza dia ataupun apa nature of a web-based system. So you have to put 1 paragraph, the most 2 paragraph about it. 1 paragraph dalam berapa line? The most 7 line aku cukup. Satu paragraph 6 ke 7 line. Biasakan dia untuk you punya thesis pun sama. Nanti you punya proposal, setiap paragraph lebih kurang 6 ke 7 line cukup. Jangan paragraph yang panjang. Paragraph yang panjang, you akan menjadikan examiner susah nak baca. Because when we have a skill reading, we are tends to read the first sentence. Read the first sentence of each paragraph in order to quickly understand the whole passage yang ada. Itu adalah skill reading. That's why you're gonna put the paragraph is a short paragraph. The most important sentence should be in the first sentence. Itu adalah cara tulis yang berkesan. Okay, first sentence tu is the main point that you want to emphasize. And then baru elaboration tentang support to the point yang ada. So that means that will be the way for you to write in answering all kinds of text pun sama. Kerana you punya assessment nanti, write a written test, cara tulis dia adalah macam tu. The main point or the important point, you have to put it as a first sentence. Then baru elaborate ataupun example to it. Okay, untuk support your points yang ada. So same things go to these kinds of assignment yang ada. Okay, make sure that you put it in a small paragraph, 6 to 7 lines in 1 paragraph. The most important point will be in the first sentence. Then elaborations will be in the following sentences that support the point. Okay, so 1 to 2 paragraph of the web-based system telling the nature of the web-based system, kenapa justify it, why web-based system become more and more important in the current business environment. Okay, semua orang nak go for web-based, and then untuk digitalize kan dia punya business and so on. Try to justify the importance of the web-based system. Then baru kepada kebanyakan paragraph showing the issue and challenge of maintaining. What will be the issue in the maintaining the web-based system? Issue number 1. Penting lah. Kena buat satu ayat di mana issue number 1 apa. Issue number 2 apa. Issue number 3 apa. Issue number 4 apa. Before you come to the conclusion to conclude the whole essay. Okay, or whole documentation or whole summary ada. Put the summary in it. So this is how you're going to answer these kinds of questions. These kinds of questions. Okay. So this is some examples of exercise dalam you punya final assessment nanti. Soalan-soalan sebegini akan keluar sebenarnya. Okay, di mana perlukan you ada knowledge daripada apa yang you dah follow dalam kelas, dan you kena jawab. Okay, right? So make sure that your answer shall be in 3 pages only. Single spacing, Thai News Roman as a font type, and size of the font is 12, and shall include 10 references, preferable journals, and proceedings. Okay, cuba cari journals dengan proceeding, because if you using some website information, it's not reliable. The resources is not reliable. That's why please go for journals or for proceeding. Okay. Then you'll file an assignment assessment tool, CSC711 assessment tool, and I will going to create the folder in your future. Saya tak create lagi. Okay, nanti saya akan create. The due date for this assessment tool will be nearly 1 month from now, 20th of December. Sebulan untuk assessment ni. I think it's sufficient for you lah. Masa tu dah cukup kok, tak kira you adalah part time ke full time ke. It's a 1 month time. Okay, 1 month time for the assessment. Okay, any questions? Agree on the time frame? Boleh kot? 1 bulan? Cukup dah kot, sufficient?
Kan.
Boleh, reasonable lah kan? Bukan suruh you dah seminggu ke 2 minggu kan? At least dah sebulan. Okay, any question related to assessment? Yes.
Doctor, the reference, what format should we use? Is it IEE or apa?
No. Just a simple essay format je. You gunakan Word, just a simple format. Contoh je wait, I try to find a one for you. Kejap I try to show you one sample. Dia tak payah IEEE, tak ada. Saya tak nak bebankan student saya dengan IEEE format everything, no. Just a simple essay. Sekejap I'll share my screen jap. This is one sample, one sample. Can you see my screen? Boleh?
Boleh Doktor.
So this is one way di mana ini adalah assignment yang 2 semesters ago. Discuss about the software design architecture for big data analytic related tools. Okay. So yang ni students ni buat lah. So saya pun highlight first paragraph dia tentang big data, second paragraph tentang apa dan sebagainya. Cuma students ni adalah dia buat ada diagram dan sebagainya, and then dia kurang bincangkan tentang isu. So dia dapat markah kuat rendah tau student ni. Okay, dia dapat markah kuat rendah untuk student ni lah. Di mana dia bincangkan isu, tak bincangkan tentang Bukan quite rendah, dikira dia tak bincang tentang sistem design architecture. Dia bincang directly kepada big data, tapi dia tak bincang tentang software design architecture in general. Dia hilang markah kat situ. Sebanyak dia fokus kepada directly big data punya tools. Okay, dia select adalah MapReduce MapReduce, architecture dan sebagainya dia terangkan. Okay, and then student ni banyak copy paste sebenarnya. Okay, ini adalah referencesnya. Ini adalah bentuk dia je. Okay, bentuk dia. Maksud simple essay je. Simple essay, so whatever you want to put in, but in 3 pages. Termasuklah dia punya references. Can you see it? Okay. So this is how the students answer the question lah. Warna color ni saya yang mark. Saya nak bagi markah bahagian mana ada markah dan sebagainya. Dia bincang big data satu paragraf. Sepatutnya dia kena bincang juga apa tu sistem design dan architecture. Dia hilang markah kat situ. Seterusnya dia directly bincang tentang big data. Big data punya architecture. Okay. So this is how we're going to actually mark it lah. Okay, question?
Betul, memang maksimum 3 je page. Sebab
3
reference ni dah macam 1 page dah ni.
Ha?
Macam reference je dah 1 page.
Reference je setengah page je. 10 10 biasa setengah page. Maksud
Macam saya punya ni 1 page ni 10 je. Sebab panjang nama tajuk kan.
Tak, tajuk tu you jadikan dia single spacing. Haziq. Reference tu you boleh jadikan single spacing. Reference tu kalau you kata saya punya requirement adalah dia punya size tu kena, let's say dia punya requirement dia requirement dia adalah font size of 12 kan. Reference you letak font size of 10 pun tak apa. Reference
reference tak apa.
Jangan font size of 8, kecil sangat. Font size of 10 pun tak apa. Disebabkan references paling penting yang content dalam tu adalah font size of 12. Kenapa saya jadikan dia 3 pages? Disebabkan saya nak student belajar macam mana you nak read and summarize it and point out apa yang point of view. Daripada mana selepas you baca, you synthesize, jadikan dia summary je. So if I put it, students 20 pages pun boleh hantar, copy paste kan. So that's why saya letak 3 pages. 3 pages force you to put everything in a summary form. Maksud you kena baca, faham dengan gunakan ayat sendiri adalah guna ayat sendiri, but you refer to someone. Daripada orang ni mengatakan benda ni adalah jadi macam ni. So maksud you synthesize kan. Sumber yang ada, sumber A, sumber B, sumber C, you synthesize kan. Jadikan dia satu ayat. Contoh, saya bagi contoh. Ini saya ajar students degree saya ni untuk buat cara ni. Student thesis saya ajar buat cara macam ni supaya saya tak pasti sama ada you degree ada tak orang ajar. Sepatutnya benda ni degree dah belajar dah. Saya cuba dapatkan notes siap. Saya share notes saya untuk yang degree, saya share notes saya macam mana nak tulis. Sekejap Okay, I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen now? Boleh?
Boleh.
Yes, boleh betul.
I call it orange method. Student pelik. Doktor, kita orang cari method tak jumpa. Saya kata macam mana nak tulis literature review If you know how to eat, you know how to write. Saya cakap. The first method saya ajar adalah orange technique. Saya sengaja gunakan ayat catchy sikit supaya student ingat. Expand and string your review. Baca, you baca contoh daripada A, orange is one of the popular local fruits. Contoh lah, daripada Ali. Daripada Ahmad, most of the local fruits contain vitamin C. Okay. Lepas tu vitamin C helps to maintain our health, Hasan. Kita kena baca, you kena ada techniques di mana gabungkan. Most of the popular local fruits include orange is rich of vitamin C and really good for maintaining our daily health. Daripada Ali, Ahmad dan Hasan. You punya level masters kena tulis macam ni. Disebabkan saya degree level saya dah ajar student nak tulis macam ni. Maksud bukan satu definition, satu author. Satu definition, satu author. Satu definition, satu author. That is the lower level of writing. Untuk master's level, you kena ada expand ni. Maksud ada cara untuk you baca, faham, synthesize, put it in a sentence. But refer to the different authors yang ada. So that will be your point for your master's akan jadi tinggi. InsyaAllah kalau you practice cara tulis macam ni, insyaAllah you punya written report insyaAllah you akan semua dapat markah tinggi. Because this is the higher levels of synthesize and summarize. You gunakan ayat sendiri, faham dengan betul-betul, tulis ayat sendiri, but you still refer to the authors. Nampak tak? Boleh faham tak? Cara dia. Contoh ni. Saya gunakan ayat orange ni.
Faham doktor.
Yeah. So you have to do it. I don't know whether you during your degree final year project lecturer you mengajar ke tak. Tapi this is how I teach my students final year project punya student. Dalam proposal, masa dia orang buat literature review, cara macam ni nak buat. Okay. So, and then saya ada KFC method. Which one is better? So, kita kena tell the difference. Okay, tell the difference, which one is better in terms of different perspective, point of emphasis. Okay, kalau you ada dua benda, KFC, you suka KFC ke suka McD? You mesti bandingkan. Bila you bandingkan, you kena tahu difference dia. Kena tulis keluar lah. In terms of tenderness, dia punya criteria. KFC chicken is juicy, McD chicken is quite dry. In terms of price, McD chicken is cheaper dan sebagainya. Ini adalah KFC versus McD. But bila teknik, nanti you akan guna. You ada banyak teknik diguna pakai. Dalam machine learning ada banyak teknik. Teknik mana yang bagus? In terms of robustness, teknik A adalah lebih bagus. Teknik B handle more complex calculation compared to teknik A. However, both teknik easy to use dan sebagainya. Contoh lah. Ini adalah cara tulis dia. Maksud kita selain daripada lapor teknik A buat apa, teknik B buat apa. Kita buat perbandingan. Menjadikan you punya sentence tu more impactful. That is the levels of the writing skill tu. Okay, so this is how I teach my students Okay, any question? Saya tak nak ajar literature review kat sini.
Doktor, doktor share bila slide tu dengan kami doktor.
Tak ada, ini degree level je. Saya ajar degree level, saya buat cara yang senang dan faham. Okay, degree level je. Saya ajar proposal untuk degree level. That's why saya ajar dia orang macam mana gunakan mind map, okay, macam mana gunakan comparison, buat cara macam ni kan. Reading, saya ajarlah satu-satu. Buat reading macam mana, ambil dia orang macam mana important point, letak dalam ni. So, ini saya ajar untuk writing literature review, chapter 2. Buat comparison, characteristic, compare teknik 1, teknik B, C, D, E. Okay, daripada teknik algoritma yang ada, buat satu table, baru kita akan nampak apa research gap yang ada. So, ini adalah slide yang saya ajar untuk student degree lah. So, you ada metodologi lecturer sendiri, so saya tak nak kacau lah. Saya hanya nak beritahu cara tulis macam ni lebih bagus.
Alah doktor, share lah doktor.
Saya ingat lagi doktor, saya ingat lagi.
Berguna buat kami tu.
Ini adalah kalau ni orang gelak ni KFC dengan MACD, apa lecturer ni ngajar ni? Dalam kelas metodologi ajar KFC dengan ini kan. So actually yang slide ni adalah I share with my students degree punya student. Kerana level dia orang quite rendah kena ajar satu-satu. That's why ajar dia orang macam mana nak tulis lah. That's why gunakan catchy punya teknik, sudah akan ingat. Oh, once dia nak tulis dia ingat. Oh, Dr. Atika pernah ajar orange teknik. Dia ingat lah. Dia jangan tulis satu definition author, satu definition author, satu definition author. That is a lower level of writing skill. Dalam master's level, I prefer you to write on the expand tu. Maksud you read on the definition. Contoh you ada satu definition ni, software evolution. You baca daripada author A, baca daripada author B, author C, baca. So you gabungkan satu ayat, software evolution can be defined as apa? Refer kepada 3 authors yang ada. That will be the more impactful of writing skill. So that is actually because I thought degree level dah cover, that's why saya memang tak cover lah untuk writing skill yang ada ni. Okay. Citation pun sepatutnya cover dalam research methodology tu, citation. That's why saya pun tak cover untuk citation because it's not within my area. Saya tidak request untuk ajar research methodology master's level disebabkan dia ada orang-orang yang ajar. That's why saya ajar untuk degree level dia, rendah sikit degree level. Ajar yang simple sikit. Okay. So saya segan nak share slide saya ni disebabkan banyak makanan disebabkan saya have to put myself into the degree level supaya dia orang senang faham. Share dengan you orang kan segan pula. You orang dah master's level
Tak apa, madam, saya ingat lagi cara madam ajar. Saya ingat lagi cara madam ajar.
Ya masuk degree saya
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ingat lagi Okay. So kalau ingat lagi Amiro tu mesti ada slide tu.
Tak tahu, itu tak tahu lagi. Tapi dah hilang.
Okay. Ada yang saya tambah lah. Right. Okay, I think that's all for today. Cuma yang untuk essay tu tak ada format Essay tu tak ada format. Cuma cara tulis dia paling penting kena faham lah cara tulis dia. And then you kena faham di mana examiner ataupun any of your lecturers masa nak marking, dia akan gunakan skim reading tau. Skim reading tu maksud dia reading by paragraph. By paragraph tu dia akan skim through, especially for your proposal. Cara kena tulis kena pandai. Di mana first sentence will be the most important sentence that you want to emphasize. Okay, first sentence tu dalam paragraph, first sentence tu is the most important sentence that you want to emphasize. The following sentences will be the elaborations to support the first sentence. Okay, you katakan, okay, web-based system is very important right now because of the availability issue. Itu adalah first sentence. You nak sebut tentang availability issue. Then you kena ayat, kena tu. Termasuk web-based have to 24/7 available to the client to log in, to check on the services, to request for the service and so on. Termasuk ayat seterusnya adalah support kepada availability yang ada. So maksud itu adalah cara untuk tulis. Macam mana you nak cara tulis untuk proposal, cara tu juga untuk tulis dalam assessment, final assessment nanti. Final assessment kebanyakan adalah written. Okay. Written writing dan sebagainya. Macam saya punya course akan minta you buat essay. Buat 3 essay. Maka apabila macam tu, cara untuk you tulis adalah cara macam ni. Okay, untuk tulis essay tersebut. Right. Okay, any question before we end out the class earlier today? Amiro dalam kelas saya ke? Saya dah lupa dah. Sorry Student ramai sangat.
Saya lepas.
Saya lepas
Belum ni ya? Ya.
Belum. dalam CS230.
Yeah.
Saya ajar apa masa tu?
Ajar tu lah. CSP.
CSP.
CSP
Okay.
600.
Okay, CSP 600. Okay. Maksud you dah go through lah. Rasanya kalau you betul-betul buat tu, you faham lah. Okay. Any other questions? Any other question before we end of the session earlier?
Doktor, for
Yeah.
the course forum, nanti doktor akan discuss ke?
Mana?
Course forum, the use case diagram.
Okay, yes. Saya akan discuss. Saya disebabkan saya punya yang tu saya end date dia besok rasa. Besok ke hari ni saya tak pasti.
Today. Yesterday.
Okay, saya tak check lagi. Saya tak check you orang punya assignment lagi. So I will going to go through, tengok berapa orang akan get it correctly. Kalau katakan ramai get it correctly, bermaksud you faham lah use case diagram. Kalau ramai get it wrongly, bermaksud really have to look into use case diagram lah. Bermaksud kemungkinan apa yang you belajar during your degree dah bagi balik kat cikgu dah. Dah bagi balik kat lecturer dah lupa. Okay, I haven't check it. Nazim, I haven't check it. Okay, saya akan ambil masa Sabtu Ahad ni, saya mungkin akan go through and I will going to share the answers next week. Next week saya akan confirm dengan Dr. Afiza whether stick to the class 8 o'clock because I really want you to attend the webinar tu kerana saya dah tengok tajuk dengan sedikit description tentang webinar tu. Saya rasa webinar tu is a good opportunity, is a good exposure untuk student. Okay, that's why I agree for you to go. Cuma bila saya benarkan you pergi untuk add to 11, maka petang tu punya kelas yang satu group tu akan tak dapat nak attend lah saya punya kelas tu. So we cannot find a common time. Hari Ahad ada kosong ke hari Ahad? If I have an option, do I have an option? Hari Ahad. Is there any common time?
Petang lah tu.
Petang. Yang lain? Nazim punya group?
Ataupun doktor
Ahad petang usually we are free because our class on Sunday is only half day.
Okay, do you agree that we switch next week punya class kepada Ahad petang just for 1 week? Can you all make it? Ataupun ada planning lain? Can you all make it? If you can make it, sacrifice masa tu lah supaya you boleh hadir untuk semua slot yang penting ni. Webinar tu disebabkan saya dah go through dia punya speakers dengan description, saya rasa bagus untuk exposure kepada student, untuk dengar industri punya point of view dan sebagainya. So if all of you free and agree, together we sacrifice that time slot lah. Hari Ahad petang. Can we make it 2 hours je, 3 to 5? Is that okay to all? Boleh ke? Can we agree on it?
I'm okay with it.
You okay? Nazim okay Wakil untuk group 1A?
Itu I sendiri yang agree. Yang lain saya tak tahu.
Alright. So yang lain? Maisara, you agree? You group 2A ke? You wakil untuk agree ke?
1A.
A juga, okay.
Boleh kot.
Boleh
Tak tahu yang lain. Ataupun mungkin boleh minta Dr. Afiza bincang dengan lecturer group 2A.
Lecturer mana?
Yang 2A punya yang pukul 3.
Dr. Nasirah.
Dr. Nasirah. Takut nanti saya kena kacau dia punya time. Kalau boleh saya hanya nak switch. Kerana dia akan ambil slot saya 8 hingga 11. Maka saya tak nak kacau kepada Dr. Nasirah punya slot. Dia nak pindah pula. So that's why saya kata kalau kita all of us here can make it Sunday, next week Sunday, 3 to 5, 2 jam je, 3 to 5. If all of you here agree, then kita directly switch to 3 to 5. Saya hanya notify kepada Dr. Afiza je tentang time slot tu. Instead of Saturday, we shift it to Sunday. Semua agree ke? Kalau silence is agree You orang punya group punya
Setuju Doktor, setuju.
Setuju Thank you Azman. Okay,
Setuju.
ada berapa wakil Maisara setuju, semua Maisara setuju, Nazir setuju. Yang lain?
Setuju Doktor, setuju.
Okey je.
Jadi kita we make the conclusion that next week punya class 8 to 11 you can attend the webinar. Okay, please attend it for the industry exposures and so on. So hari Ahad 3 to 5 we make it 2 hours only. 3 to 5 we are cover CSC711 only for 2 hours Okay, we make it that way. Okay, saya hanya notify kepada Dr. Afiza about the different times, the different schedule. Okay, right. I think that's all. Any last questions? Kalau tak ada, that's all for today. So hope to meet you again next Sunday, 3 to 5. Okay. So take care and stay safe at home. Okay. Well, I hope that we can meet at the end of the semesters. Kerana semester ni akan habis January I hope that we really can make it physically lah. Okay, hopefully. Kerana kat sini tak nampak semua orang ni. Sampai sekarang saya tak tahu Nazim muka macam mana. Yang lain adalah contoh Fazana. Fazana cover by Belu, saya tak nampak pun. Ada yang buat ni, saya tak kenal. Okay, that's why really wants to have time, physical time, get to know each of the students. Okay, mana tahu kita boleh kerjasama dalam in terms of project, in terms of the future underdoings dan sebagainya kan. That's why I have to get to know each other. Right, okay, that's all. Thank you very much and hope to meet you again next Sunday. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doktor.